Welcome to Purpose. I'm your host, Corie Clark. I'm just a normal girl who decided to go for it. I created a thriving business from the ground up without sacrificing my sanity, and I believe that you can do the same. You were created on purpose, for a purpose, and I fully believe you can turn that purpose into profit. Each week, I'm going to bring you practical advice to help you live your life and grow your business on purpose. Welcome back, friends. This is Corie. I'm your host, and I am so thankful that you are here and listening to me today. Whatever it is that you're doing, I value your time, and I appreciate that you're listening to me. So, as I shared before, we are actually doing an awesome giveaway for the first week of the podcast. So, if you leave a review on iTunes, and if you screenshot that review and then post it to your Instagram stories and make sure that you tag me in it so that I can see it, you will be entered to win a $50 Amazon card and a $50 card to my shop. And we're actually giving away 2 of those sets. So 2 people will win. And that will be available for the first week of the podcast. So on to the show. I am going to be talking about today, I'm going to be talking about my morning routine. So I get asked about this like all the time, and I actually have been asking on Instagram and in my free Facebook community, what do you guys want me to talk about? This is one thing that I'm always asked about, and a lot of times I'm asked about my entire day, but I want to focus on morning routine for this episode because I truly believe that how you run your morning actually sets you up for how your day will be. So if you have a really crappy morning, you're probably going to have a really crappy day. And you actually get to control how your morning goes. Even if it doesn't start off exactly how you want, you can control the first couple hours that you're awake and really turn it into an amazing day. So for me, I like to get up around the same time every day, and I'll actually back up a little bit and tell you why it's not exactly the same every day, because it goes back and is based on how your night goes the night before. So for the most part, I wake up around 5:30 or 6, but it really depends on what time I'm going to bed because I want to give myself 7.5 hours of sleep. And the reason I choose 7.5 is I actually read the book Sleep Smarter by Shawn Stevenson. I read it maybe like a year or so ago, and it's all about sleep and getting the right kind of sleep and the right amount of sleep. And, a lot of people will say 8 hours or, between 7 and 8, and I understand that. But what he taught was if you break it into basically hour and a half chunks, because that's when that's your REM cycle is about an hour and a half. So the reason I choose 7.5 is it does give me that hour and a half REM cycle. And I'll usually, maybe set my alarm for like 7 hours and 45 minutes just to make sure I have enough time to fall asleep and all that. But it's actually worked out really well. And the more I do the 7.5 hours, the more I actually just kind of wake up on my own. And I never used to be that kind of person. I used to want to sleep in, say I'm a night owl. I get my best work done at night. And, I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs that say that, but I want to challenge you to try this out. Try it out for a few months because it really has changed my health. It's changed the way I work. And if I can get really good quality sleep for 7.5 hours, I wake up feeling so much more refreshed. If you wake up in the middle of a REM cycle, that's where you're really going to start to feel tired. So even if you got like 10 hours of sleep, if you wake up in the middle of that REM cycle, you're going to feel exhausted. So I start out with getting a really good night's sleep. And so depending on when I go to bed and set my alarm for about 7.5 hours later, that determines when I wake up. So if we end up having a really late night, I will sleep in a little later. But for the most part, I wake up around 5:30 or 6 in the morning. Now, another part of going back into the evening, because I really do believe that really is going to set you up for a good morning. I have like a little bit of an evening routine. I try to stay off my phone and avoid blue light for like, an hour or so before I go to sleep. And like in the book, Sleep Smarter, I think he suggests more like 3 hours, but I don't do that. So I would love to try and do that. But at this point, I'm happy if I can avoid my phone for like an hour before I go to bed. So avoiding the blue light, setting up a healthy sleep environment. Like our bed is comfortable, our sheets are comfortable. We make sure there's not a lot of light in our room. Like we have everything off, no light in our room at all. Those kind of things really help set me up for a good night's sleep. And actually, we have essential oils that we'll have in our diffuser before I go to sleep, just to really help calm me. And I'll use like lavender or patchouli, things like that. So I really like just setting up my environment to help calm my mind, help to relax my body. And then another thing that I actually started doing in like September, October is I started taking CBD oil, and it has no THC in it. I was a little bit skeptical, but it has no THC in it. It's like from an organic farm. It's this super high quality CBD oil. And I actually, I'm going to link it in the show notes because I have a coupon for you guys too, if you guys want to try it. But I felt this like anxiety where I would wake up in the middle of the night worried about my business. And it really started getting worse after we brought Ryan on full time, because really felt like I was carrying the weight of the business, which I am. It is my name, but he is carrying the business with me, and I understand that, but there's just was something in my mind where I was feeling that anxiety and that stress of having to carry everything on my own and being responsible for the revenue that comes into our business. And it was really wearing on me. I was not sleeping well. I was waking up anxious. And it just was like this overall anxious feeling. It wasn't like full-blown anxiety attacks, but it was like this layer of anxiety that was not ever leaving my body. So I started taking CBD oil. So that is like the last thing I do before I go to bed at night. And it seriously has changed my life. So anyways, okay, let's get into the morning routine. Those are the things I do to set myself up so that when my alarm goes off or when I just wake up on my own, I'm ready to go. So the first thing I do is I drink a glass of chlorophyll water. I know it's important just to drink a glass of water, period. If you're not doing that, go ahead and start off your morning drinking a glass of water to help rehydrate your body. But I started doing the chlorophyll water because it helps like detoxify your body. It's really good for you. It has all kinds of benefits. So I just get mine on Amazon. I'll link to it in the show notes. It's like a little bottle that you just put like 15 drops in your water, and it's like minty and fresh and tastes delicious. So I just like down that really quick while my coffee's brewing. And then I have a cup of bulletproof coffee, which I swear by. I have bulletproof coffee every morning. I have it with the grass-fed butter and with the brain octane oil. I also put collagen in there, and it's really does help turn on your brain. It fuels you. It helps me to not feel hungry. I usually don't feel hungry until like 12 or 1. There is so many benefits to bulletproof coffee. So that is definitely at the top of my list in the morning. And I'm lucky enough to have a husband that makes it most mornings, which is lovely because then I actually just stay in bed and he brings me my coffee. So the next thing I do is I read my Bible and I have my quiet time and I pray. I used to just go straight to my phone and, scroll Instagram, check my email thinking, oh, I'm just getting some stuff done while I wake up. And it actually just really is not a good way to start your day. Like you should not be filling your mind with things that other people are doing, with things that other people want from you. Like don't check your email in bed. Don't look at Instagram or Facebook in bed. Spend some time whatever it is that you do, for me, that is reading my Bible and praying. And, maybe you have a meditation that you like to do, or maybe you don't even do anything yet. I want to challenge you to find something to do that will help fill your soul before you start pouring out into the world. Just getting my soul filled and my mind filled with the word and prayer, it just truly, I know this sounds cliche, but it really does set me up for a win for that day. And I have a couple of different Bible reading plans that I do. I'll go ahead and link to those in the show notes as well. But it kind of changes. So right now I'm going through a Bible study with my Connect group at church. So that's what I'm doing in the morning. If I don't have a specific study I'm going through, I actually really like a Bible reading plan by a pastor at our church. And I will link to that. His name's Robert Ferguson, and he is an amazing teacher at Hillsong College. And I really love that reading plan. So I will link to it. And then if I ever happen to have a morning where I'm I know I don't have a ton of time, I just got to get in some quick reading, then I use the Bible app and I just have the 1 year Bible on there. And then I just am going through it in order of what the app says. I don't worry about staying caught up because I know I'm not reading that plan every single day, but I just go ahead and pick up wherever I left off last. And I have something that just takes, 10 or 15 minutes and can help really set me up for the day without having to do a big deep dive. So I will link to those in the show notes so that you can have access to the plans that I follow. So after that, I spend some time praying, and I pray for the business, and I pray for our family, and, anything else that needs prayer. And then I go into journaling. So I used to journal, and it was very sporadic. And it was what most people would think of a journal, just write about what's been happening in my life and how I've been feeling and that kind of stuff. But over the last year, I've actually been trying to work on my mindset. I realized that my mindset was not very healthy. I, was doubting myself. I had fears and limiting beliefs that were not true, and I knew I needed to change them. So I started journaling and writing out things that will affirm me, my dreams and my hopes. And I'll actually go ahead and share with you exactly what I do. So the first thing I do is I write out 3 things I'm thankful for. And I don't have to be super deep. It's just the first 3 things that I think of that morning. So maybe it's just, I'm thankful for my husband, or I'm thankful that I'm healthy. I'm thankful that my kids are healthy. I'm thankful for our business. And, a lot of times it's the same stuff. It's not a big deal. It's just setting my mind into a state of gratitude and, not getting super into it and super deep. And I'm not writing a ton of sentences. I'm literally just writing 3 things I'm grateful for. Then I go into affirmations and I write down 5 affirmations. And sometimes these change depending on what I'm struggling with or an area that I feel like I need to have a little bit more faith in myself. So some of those things are I am strong, or I am a leader, or, I am a strong business owner. Those kind of affirmations. Or I am created on purpose for a purpose. Or I am fully capable of living out my purpose. So those kind of things. I'll write down 5 affirmations. And then I write down 5 dreams. So these are dreams that I want to accomplish in the next 1 to 5 years. And, my husband and I have a big vision for our business, but these things that I write down every day are things that I am really dreaming and hoping for, that they'll happen in the next 1 to 5 years. And so they have to do with our revenue and things that we're going to do in our business. But I write them down as if they have already happened. So if you have a revenue goal of $100,000, then you would write down, I have a $100,000 business, or I earned $100,000 in 2019. You write it down as if it already happened. And Now, not only do I write these things down, I write them down, I say them out loud, I close my eyes and like envision that actually happening, feel how I would feel when those things do happen. And I really let them soak in. So after I've written down my 5 dreams, then I write down 3 intentions for the day. So this is different than what you would write down in your planner. It's just 3 things that I intend to do or be this day so that I show up as this person who has achieved these dreams. So it might be like, I am going to show up today for my audience and record this podcast. Like that is something that I need to do to get to where I want to be. Or I am going to, maybe something that you want to do with your kids, because maybe one of your intentions is just being a better parent. So you're just going to choose 3 intentions of how you're going to show up that day, or maybe it is an action step that you're going to take because you know it's going to take you closer to those dreams that you wrote down. So you just make sure that those 3 intentions are in alignment with the dreams, with the life that you're trying to achieve. And that's just the end of my journaling for the morning. I actually, in the evening, will go ahead and write down 3 more things I'm thankful for specific to that day. 3 things I'm thankful for that happened on that day. And then I'll just write down a few notes about like reflecting on the day. But that's not part of the morning routine. That's just part of my journaling. But once I'm done journaling, then I'll look over my planner, kind of make sure I'm ready for the day. And then I go for a walk. And I go for a walk pretty much every day. I don't go on Sundays because we go to church pretty early. But pretty much every other day, I'm walking at least 45 minutes. And I'll usually listen to a podcast because I'm a huge fan of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So I will listen to one of my favorite podcasts, maybe like a sermon from like, I really like Stephen Furtick. So sometimes I'll go on like a Stephen Furtick binge and listen to him a few days in a row. But that's really just my time to move my body and be filled with something else, learn from someone or grow spiritually, whatever it ends up being on that day. And it's just kind of my time to get out, get fresh air. I know not all of you live in beautiful Southern California, so maybe you can't go walk every day, but whatever it is, like find a way to move your body. And I feel like truly the earlier I do it in the day, just like gets those endorphins going, gets your mind going, gets your blood flowing and ready for, a killer day. And those are the things that I do to set myself up. And I truly, truly believe that they really help me get my work done. And all of it said and done, especially after a 45-minute walk. I mean, we're probably talking 2 hours into my day, but I'm working more efficiently. Like I'm ready, I'm focused, I'm in alignment with my values and with my beliefs, and it really helps me make better decisions throughout the day. On days that I don't do this, when something happens and I don't get to follow this like routine, I always can tell that I'm not getting quality work done or I'm not getting everything done that I had planned on. And so I really, really cannot encourage you enough to just get a morning routine going. And I did not start all this like in one day. So if you have 0 morning routine, it's okay. Pick one thing that you're going to start doing every morning and just start building onto it. Once you've been doing that one thing every morning, after like a week or so, then try to add something else. And it can just be super small stuff. You don't have to do anything crazy. You don't have to try to read the Bible in like 30 days or, you don't need to try and add all these crazy new things, but pick some things that are really going to invest in your health, into your soul, into how you're going to operate the rest of the day. And I promise you, you are going to see a huge change in the way that you operate. So that is my morning routine, and I would love to know what your guys' morning routine is. So go ahead and DM me on Instagram and let me know. You can follow me. I'm just at Corie Clark. I'm going to link to all of these amazing resources in the show notes. So go to corieclark.com/3 because this is episode 3. corieclark.com/3, and I will have links to the book I talked about, to the CBD oil I love, the essential oils I love, the Bible reading plan that I do, and all that kind of stuff. That way you can just find it all in one place. But go ahead and screenshot this episode and tag me on Instagram and let me know, like, what's something that you do every morning that sets you up for a win. I would love to hear what you're doing. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up our episode for the day. Don't forget to leave a review on iTunes, screenshot it, tag me in your stories so I can enter you into that contest. I can't wait to see who wins our amazing $50 Amazon card and $50 gift card to the shop.